Okay, good morning, gentlemen. Please bear with us. There is an internet problem. Okay. Assure you, you have a copy of the PowerPoint and we can follow each other. Okay. So our topic for today is something about the STCW. The reason why you are here is because we are in compliance with the requirements of the STCW, right? So as future teachers in the maritime industry, you are supposed to be guided with the different competency requirements on what our students need for them to be able to be skillful and knowledgeable about the shipping industry, the seafaring profession, and how is it to be a seafarer, no? Representative of our country, the Philippines, because we are still the most of nationality all over the world. About 28 to 30% of seafarers are Filipinos, and we would like to maintain our position as the number one supplier of seafarers on board ocean-going vessels. Okay, so let's have an overview. So when you say STCW, what does it mean? So it is an international requirement for training and certifying seafarers and what's keeping standards. So we're talking about the standards. As you all know, historically, the seafarers are guided, including all the stakeholders involved in shipping and the maritime industry. We are guided with the STCW, right? And what does STCW mean? Standard training, certification, and what's keeping. And because we are talking about the standards, therefore the qualification, the manner by which we are going to observe safety as guided by the safe working practices on board vessels are supposed to be standard. That means it is uniform and it is our obligation to comply. All the people involved in shipping and the industry are supposed to be following the standards that we hold. Okay, so for us to be able to understand more, let's go back to the 1978 STCW. Now remember that the STCW is not replaced, no? It is just amended. So the problem about STCW is that the 1978 version does not comply with some of the provisions anymore that the industry needs, di ba? So some of the provisions have been amended in order to address the the present needs of the seafaring industry. Okay, and remember that it underwent revision in 1995, and owing the historical development of the STCW, this is the reason why you are here, because the 1995 version of the STCW requires that for you to be able to come up and produce quality seafarers, what is the secret? We produce quality instructors, and this is where you are, the reason why you are here. The reason why you are here is because the 1995 so requires, and training started in 1996. So it is easier now to do maritime education and training and do the instruction because we are guided by the competencies defined in the STCW. Because there was another revision, okay, of the 1995, which was followed by the 2006, and this is initiated in 2006. What does it include when we say revision in 2006? What is the most significant revision in 2006? Gentlemen, it's the MLC or the Maritime Convention, which specifies what? The working hours, the protection of the seafarers in terms of how are you going to be paid, difficulties encountered, the effect of
stress.
collective bargaining agreement, implementation, which used to be that, the businessmen, the principals, ship owners are very quiet about it, okay? But this time we are more clear that we are guided safely by the provisions. But again in 2010, the STCW was again amended and revised some of the provisions because, of course, as we move on and as we go along in shipping, we are actually protecting more as the industry and the work or occupation of the seafarers demands and all stakeholders involved in shipping industry. Okay? So we have the Manila Amendment. Bakit po tinawag siyang Manila Amendment? Because it was done in the Philippines. And why is it done in the Philippines? Aside from being cheap. Okay? Because it's cheap to conduct trading in the Philippines. And we have a lot of participants, and because we are the major producers and suppliers of seafarers. Okay? As compared, that we're talking particularly for the ratings. Okay? Because we are no longer number one. And that's the sad news. And the different actions that we do now is in order to address the needs, and probably we can regain our position to be the number one supplier of seafarers, both for the ratings and the officers. Okay, so review the dates. Okay, in 2012, everything entered into force. Now we were given 2 years of 2 years period in order to make certain adjustment in terms of our plans, our programs, and the implementation responses in order to fully implement the provisions of the 2010. And then, by 2017, it is now 2021, so how many years have passed? 4 years, is that correct?
4 years.
And therefore, it is supposed to be in full force. Everything works. And all that we are doing now is in compliance with the 2010, and there is no excuse, my friend. Okay? So, the STCW convention is organized according to 7 articles which is found in the annex of the STCW, which defines the regulations with 8 chapters. And the 8 chapters as per STCW is, as compared, we have the Part A, which is the mandatory provisions for the 8 chapters with different sections. And Part B is the recommended guidance for the 8 chapters with sections. So, the recommended guidance is for the administration of different countries participating in the convention are guided accordingly on how we are going to implement the different programs. Okay, we even have what do you call this, in-house programs in order to make easy for the seafarers in particular and those who are involved in the money, in the recruitment, in deployment, in medical examinations, and all activities related before a Filipino seafarer is deployed. So we have regulation 2/1, section A, dash 2/1, and then we have section B, dash 2/1. So all these are found in the STCW, and I told you that all of these can be found in the STCW 2010. So I told you, if you don't have, I already found my copy, so I can share it to you. Okay, so you will notice that the STCW, particularly for 2010, we have 8 chapters. And 8 chapters are, including for chapter 1, we have general provisions, the deck department for 2, engineering department for 3, 4 radio communication, which is now handled by the deck officer, particularly the chief mate or the second mate as designated. And then we have special vessels, which includes or exclude different types of vessels. Okay? So we'll talk about it later. And then safety training which applies to all involved. Then alternative certification, what are the other ways by which we can pronounce a person or seafarer as competent through alternative certifications. Third party certifications, certificate of sea service, what else? Awards and recognitions, loyalty, awards, training certification, all that. And then what's keeping applies for both the engine and the deck. Okay, now the STCW includes or the 7 main functions for navigation, counter-hanging and stowage. This is including also controlling the operation of ship and care for persons on board. Okay, so who is the doctor of the ship? The second mate or the first, the chief mate as designated. Of course, upon the instruction of the master. And then we have the marine engineering, which will include also the fifth function, which is electrical, electronic, and control engineering. So you will notice that it used to be for the old STCW only the electrical. Now we have now electronic and control engineering. Why? Because most of the operations, activities happening on board are what? Yeah, make use of electronics, and this makes things easy for you. And ships are already installed with highly technologically advanced operations that we make use of digitalized programs for the operation of ships. And then we have maintenance and repair. It applies both for the engine and the deck, and then the 7 is for radio communication. I told you it's being handled by the deck officers because we get rid already of the radio officers on board. Okay? Now, originally there are only 2 levels for the people who joins the ship. Okay, what are these? We have the officers and the ratings. Now, on the STCW, we have 3 levels now. Okay, and these are what? We have the management, the operational, and the support level. So that's a little bit different because it clearly defines actually what exactly are the functions according to the position, the job description, and expectation for each of the different positions. Now, what is being nice for the STCW 2010 is if you are into instruction and you would like to get into teaching, say maritime education for maritime schools and training for training center for the short-term courses, which are generally STCW mandated courses, and that's what we are after, that's why you are here. So therefore, we talk about the competence. The competence for a particular position and particular function is already defined. So you do not have to think about what are you going to teach as future teachers in the maritime industry. So we have the knowledge and understanding and proficiency, which is already defined. Now remember, the industry dictates the competence. Ano ang dapat alam ng isang seaman for a particular position is already specified. It was dictated by the industry because that is what is needed in the operation of ship. And then we also have the methods of demonstrating competence. What are these methods? I told you yesterday we have the portfolio, which is already not being practiced now because it is already, it was stopped in 2002, no, because everything are new entrants. Okay? So everybody are new entrants. The second is we have the written examination, which tests the knowledge of the seafarers and the officers in particular. And then we have the practical assessment, which will define the skills as can be found in the requirements of the STCW 2010. And then we have the criteria for evaluating competence. So the level of competence in a scale of, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how was the skill or the competence of the seafarers? Okay, is it level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5? And all this have to be addressed through the training. Okay, so today we are going to extract, no, provisions. As an example, you see it on the board. How are we going to do for us to be able to deliver a quality and effective maritime instruction following format and requirements of the STCW 2010. Okay? So that's all for now. Thank you so much, and we will be right back as we do the workshop.